Okay. All right, and then just one other quick question. How's the parking going with the school department? I know that we had a lot of people moving around, like you said, trying to find spots.
Yeah.
And moving
So,
them.
in September 2015, all the Lowell High School teachers and faculty, up till September 2015, they used to park at John Street. So to accommodate the loss of spaces at the two garages that we were repairing, at that time, we moved them to the AOT. As, you know, we wanted to capitalize on the facility. It's a little bit slower when Middlesex isn't in session. So we moved an additional 100 parkers of the school department, the administrative building, over to the AOT. And that has been successful in order for us to, you know, meet our objective of creating a larger work area so we can speed up these repairs. No one has complained. There were a few individuals that expressed that they needed special consideration due to health reasons or the nature of their position. So the parking department heard them and, you know, accommodated their requests. That handful of individuals was approximately 10 for various reasons. So far so good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
As I understand it, Nicholas, the student rate is $17 per month, the high school?
For the Lowell High students, that's correct, at the AOT garage only.
Okay, at the AOT garage only?
That's
Okay.
correct.
Now, over at the early garage, we have short-term parking. Do we have short-term parking at any of the other garages? I know I should know the answer to that.
No, we do
but
not.
We do not, okay.
Right.
There was some talk that, or I had been approached whether or not we should look at doing some short-term parking, be it 1 or 2 hour on the first floor of say, the Market Street garage or the John Street garage. So I don't know if the parking department has given that any consideration.
What allows us to do the short-term parking at the early garage is the way the entrance gate is configured. So at every other garage, the entrance gate is right at the entrance, and in order to enter the facility, you need to pull a ticket.
Okay.
The early garage has a large open bay that has short-term parking, and then when you approach beyond that, that's where it becomes the gates. In order for us to create short-term parking on the bottom floor of Market Street, we would need to remove the gates and make that bottom floor open.
Okay.
And then create some kiosk system or pay-by-space solution. And then on the top floors, we would need to maybe incorporate some gate system at one of the ramps and move it up. So again, it's possible, but it may require some effort and, you know, some
Okay.
thought.
Okay. Now, is the market rate a range, or is the market rate a number? Like, is it $55 or $65 per month?
The market rate is a number,
Is a
and
number.
it's $64 per month.
$64 per
And
month.
there are discounts in play based on if you are a downtown resident. There is it's $48 a month.
Okay.
I believe that's a 25% discount.
Okay.
It's broken down in percentage. And then there's a group billing discount, which ends up being $52 a month. And that is, you qualify for that as if you have purchased 20 or more pass cards. Get it on one bill and pay for it on one check.
Okay.
It reduces our administrative effort, and thus we are able to provide a discount.
Okay.
There's also a discount for senior citizens and disabled citizens that are residents of downtown, and then the students of LHS, as you had mentioned.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Council Belanger. Thank you, Nicholas. Council Belanger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, I want to thank Nick Navin for this very in-depth report, very revealing, to say the least. But, Mr. Chairman, through you to Nick Navin, Mr. Navin, if we can just start with MCC, who is largest use of downtown parking. You said explicitly in the report. The good news is that there's a little bit of latitude here, that there's no easements involved, and that while they're getting, 50% discount currently, and I understand that's down from 60 or 65%. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, please?
Certainly. So the most recent contract that the city and Middlesex, so the city is the sole provider of parking for Middlesex Community College in Lowell. So all of their parking needs are met by our municipal parking facilities. And the most recent agreement that we had with them expired on June 30th, 2016, and it was for the previous 3 years. And it amounted to a discount of 65% over market rate at full utilization. So that, when I first became parking director, that struck me as that it was very high. And then in some research, I've discovered that that deviates from best practices of the industry to offer a discount that high, even with the volume of parkers that, they have. So We recently renegotiated a contract that is going to take place for the next 2 fiscal years, and the first point of business was to reduce that market rate to 50%. And it's the objective of the parking department and the understanding of Middlesex Community College that the city will be offering less of a discount over market rate in subsequent contract cycles, with the objective to pare that discount over market rate down to 0. But this is a measure in order to do it gradually so that it's not a, shock.
Oh, okay, that's a good strategy. So this discount applies until June 30th, 2018, where you then will be back at the table a little months prior to that date, and that 50% may go down to 40 or 35 roughly, and then it's a condescending pattern from there every time it's renegotiated, correct? Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, that's correct. I think that it's appropriate that we continue to discount we continue to reduce the discount over market rate by 15% at each contract cycle. I think there may be merit to provide them some discount if they continue to have the amount of volume that they currently do, but typically that's not more than 10% or something like that if we were to use similar industry examples.
Okay, I understand. I think that's more than appropriate to say all of a sudden, today it's full price. That's not, they're our partner in the city, and they're a customer too, and they're a very large volume customer. But something that does bear mentioning is they get carte blanche here, more or less, because the lower locks can't suit them all, so their passes go to all the garages, and that's quite unique in pass holders in this situation, is it not?
Yes, it's unique that typically pass card holders only have access for one garage. And typically the Middlesex Community College pass card holders park at one garage consistently, and that is the lower locks. However, the only time that they use the ability to go to different facilities is if for some reason that one fills. It gives them an ability to react and park in another parking garage where they're not, scrambling and.
Right.
So.
Okay, well, that's a privilege that we give them. Okay,
Certainly,
that's
yep.
what suits their needs, but again, we will get to market rate in a number of years. But what's troubling here is the AOT garage near the high school, where there is a total of 1,250 spaces, and 750 to the Warner-Lancet Mills, and that is an easement, correct?
That is correct.
Now, that is a rather generous discount that they're getting. And so when we mention easement, more or less, we're locked into that price, are we not? What can we do there? That is far below market with today's maintenance costs, and, we're getting clobbered, to say, with lack of a better word, Mr. Navin. What can be done there? Have you investigated this with the manager and the solicitor to see what we may have any recourse?
Yes, I've actually worked with both, and if I may, I would like to, ask Christine to answer this, because she, the easement is what it is.
Sure. There are a few, literally 2 easements that appear in this report and that we honor as part of our parking garages throughout the city. And in both cases, they were necessary requirements for the eventual construction of, in this case, the renovation of the Warner-Lancet Mills and the creation of the hotel in the downtown. Looking back on them now, it's normal that we would want the ability to try to renegotiate these things, but the reality is, when placed within their historical context, it's what really enabled these projects to move forward, and it's also something that we will see from time to time required by the banks in order for these projects to get the necessary funding. They need to have parking, and they need to have it guaranteed over an extended, significant period of time. That being said, we certainly understand the point that you raise.
Yeah, so you're more or less saying we're locked in.
Right. There can be default provisions, but generally speaking, it's rare that those would come into play.
That hurts. No fault to yours, Madam Solicitor, Nick, that one does hurt. And along with the lower locks, in the name of economic development, I can understand planners at the time to make Warner-Lancet Mills get off the ground. Yeah,
That would have been me, Counselor.
Oh, hey, that's correct, too.
There were two urban development action grants, as the solicitor indicated, and as part of the agreement, we did do and you're correct, it does hurt. I mean, especially at lower locks, and again, I apologize for cutting you off, because the lower locks, they're free. The two floors for the university, it's free parking, so.
Correct. The Lower Locks hurts in particular because that was sold as to a hotel originally, and it was, the whole building was paying taxes at a full rate. Now it's been conveyed to to the university. It pays very little in taxes, and that easement still stands. That one is, that one's a real backbreaker, I understand, yeah. Okay, well, great in-depth report, Mr. Navin, once again. It's troubling. I don't know what we can do. How can we not hold them to at least the maintenance? If they're gonna, Aod Garage, they want Lancet has 60% of that garage under their control with no maintenance costs or anything at a rate, a 1980s rate. So, geez, very troubling. But I'm glad, Mr. David, you got to the bottom of it. At least we're aware of it. And it's something we should, I'm going to address to the full council as well as the chairman, and for the manager and the solicitor to do all they can to, I mean, they should at least, this is an outdated deal. I get it, and the time, it was the right thing to do, but to make them free and clear of all maintenance costs, I have a serious problem with that. So again, thank you very much. Now, actually, on a last note, how about downtown residents? About how many residents do we have in the books right now as ratepayers? Next, may I ask? Through you, Mr. Chairman.
Just to give a very approximate number, I would say that I would say close to half of our pass card holders would be the residents. I mean, the residential parking is not a burden on our facilities because they park at night.
Sometimes they're unable to use these things as a result of the students. That's what's troubling, too. I mean, it's rare, but it does happen, especially with the shortage with repairs that are going on now. That's where my motion's inspired by residents and businesses who can't use it.
Sure.
That's why I made the motion. And that's, because students are in there at a discounted rate, and that's, so how many ratepayers do we have, I guess? If residents are half, what's the number of pass card holders, I should say?
The number of pass card holders is approximately 5,000. There's approximately 5,000 pass cards.
So we have 2,500 in downtown residents?
Well, I would say approximately that figure. That's around that rate.
And they're paying.
I don't have that specific number right now, but I can get that number for
Okay,
you.
and they're paying, downtown residents are paying $48.
Downtown residents
Okay.
pay $48.
Well, I just want to disperse this parking properly so the residents who are paying monthly, who live there day in and day out, there's spots readily available, Nick. I think that's very, very important. I understand when maintenance is being complete, it's not always easy. We're short about 200 spots right now, I believe, between the Lower Locks and the Roy. But that will, in turn, correct itself. But, okay, I may have some more questions later on, Mr. Chairman, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Langer. The chair would also recognize City Manager Murphy, who's joined us. Manager Murphy.
I'll speak from here.
Okay.
Executive. I just, I think this was a terrific report that our parking director did. It's very, very specific on the garages. But the thing I took away from the report, and I understand the issues that you brought up, but the vast majority of parkers in our garages are paying market rate. The Middlesex Community College has been below 50% in the past, but we just negotiated a new contract where we're bringing them up incrementally over each 2-year period so that they're up to 100%. We didn't want to burden the poor students with saddling them with more costs right away. So we are working on bringing the Middlesex Community College. The Aod Garage with the Warner Lancet Mills, I wasn't here at the time, but I do remember it. That was to spur redevelopment of the Warner Lancet Mills, and that's why I believe they were given that easement. And of course, UMass Lowell bought the garage, bought the hotel, and with that came the 2 floors of parking that spurred the building of that hotel to begin with. And UMass Lowell is sharing with the repairs of that garage. So they're paying the debt service on the 2 levels that we are repairing in the Lower Locks garage. So if we get to the point in the Aod garage where we need to make repairs, we certainly will reach out to Farley White and UMass Lowell to ask them to help contribute with the parking. And as far as it's downtown, which, Nick has been doing a great job trying to disperse the parking so that people are serviced as best they can. And I think it's a trial thing, we're working on it, but the Market Street Garage during the day is the one that most consumers, most customers of the downtown businesses want to park in. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to free up as many spaces as we can on the Market Street Garage so that the customers of the businesses can park there. That's why we moved the school department to the Ayotte Garage. We're looking at that. We may work with them to get closer. But it is, I just want everybody to know that's watching is that the vast majority of people who park in our garages are paying market rate. And I think I think they're doing a great job dealing with as many cars as we have to on a daily basis.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilor Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I have Manager Murphy here. Mr. Manager, Mr. Navin stated us earlier that there's a new pay-by-phone smartphone app coming to the city to be debuted on August 25th.
That's the tentative date, yes.
So is there, I'm guessing there's going to be a massive rollout with publicity and so forth of how this can be done?
Yeah, we'll roll that out. I didn't know the date was so upon us. It may be a little further. We'll make sure that we're going to roll it out. I just wish, and one thing we're looking into is we'd love to be able to get an app for the parking garages themselves, because it would be great if you could just look at the parking app. I know you can tell people where the spaces are, but if they could look at their phone and say, oh, well, geez, there's plenty at the John Street parking garage rather than Market Street. Let me go over to John Street. That would be very helpful, too.
And that would be my next question, is the availability of certain spots. So thank you
It's
very
not
much.
available now, but we're working to do it in the parking garages.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair would also like to recognize Councilor Samaras is here this evening. Thank you, Councilor Samaras. I'd also like to mention just, because I guess I have been around for so long, but when we built the Lower Locks garage in the mid-'80s, we actually built I'm going to say the westerly end of the garage near the hotel or near the UMass Center, structurally strong enough to support an 8-story building. So on top of the garage at that end. So whether or not there was ever, the parking director ever wanted to say, let's engineer new parking at that end of the garage, again, the footings are there to support quite a sizable addition. We were obviously very optimistic that the 250-room hotel might someday be a 400-room hotel. So that end of the garage is strong enough to support additional capacity.
It's funny you mentioned that, because the engineer who was working on the project for the repairs made mention of that. He said he was pretty sure that this facility could be built up on.
Correct, it can be, yeah. And I'm sure our city engineers department has, building plans that would support that, so.
Great.
Anything else to come before the subcommittee? Councilor Rourke.
Last question, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. This is actually refers to one of the past motions from Councilor Belanger. Mr. Navin, any consideration to sponsorships of the garages to be named, as an income for the city?
Yes, we can there's no plans right now, but we could currently explore incorporating some advertising. I do know that there are some locations in some of the facilities that look like they're frames, and they were built to have banners in there. And I do remember at some point the Lowell Memorial Auditorium used to advertise in the front of the garage, in front of the gate. So I think that's a great idea, and it's certainly something that we can make plans with.
Councilor Belanger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just through you to Mr. Navin again. Mr. Navin, when was the last time we had an increase as far as garage rates and meters on street parking?
It's my understanding that garage rates were raised approximately 10 to 12 years ago.
Wow, so, okay. So
And they were doubled. And I can't speak to when the on-street was raised. I have not done any research on that.
okay, probably around the same time frame, I would imagine.
That would be my guess.
Yep. Oh, wow, so it's been 10 years literally since the last increase. Okay,
At least.
So how long are we able to sustain things at these rates, can I ask?
Well, if you were to judge by the budget and the projection that Councilor Milanazzo had made available for us, 5 years.
Right.
And that's if we would wish to deplete our fund balance. So
Okay, so an increase is imminent, as we say.
You know, we have the garage repair projects that we're doing now. We're gonna have to build a garage in the Hamilton Canal District. We have a lot of parking needs coming up. So I think that, you know, we may need to look at that.
And a new garage in the Hamilton Canal.
And a new garage,
Right.
so.
Okay, well, Mr. Chairman, we have a downtown resident here. I don't know if she wanted to speak at all, address the council, or, no? Okay.
Welcome.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have anything else to come before the subcommittee? The chair would entertain a motion to report this meeting out as a report of progress by Council Rourke, seconded by Council Leahy. All those in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.